Take the brake fluid reservoir cap off. Keep an eye on the fluid level, because when you're pushing the pistons in, it's going to change the fluid level. It's going to come up a bit. I wrap some paper towel around the reservoir so if it goes over, it doesn't spill all over. Brake fluid is really nasty. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just get under here with needle nose pliers, squeeze this together so you can pull this out. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is get under, and you see the flex line here. Okay, I already took it out. Right, I left the bolt in there. Okay, you're going to need, for this one here, 12 mil to move this, so you can move your caliper out of the way. So it's a 12 mil bolt. I screwed it in there so I don't lose it. Okay, and you're good. Probably a good idea to grab a little wire brush and clean off the bolts. Then maybe just spray them with a little bit of brake cleaner so that you can get the socket and the open head wrenches on the bolts and the nuts a lot better. Clean up with a little wire brush. So then I get a little wire brush, see this little thing here, and I just kind of clean up the bolt so you can get the wrench on there. I already did it, so I'm just kind of showing you what I did already. All right, just get under there. Try not to touch the rubber. Clean it up so that you can get the wrenches and the sockets on better. Okay. Next, take 17 mil open head right there, 13 mil. Okay. These are pretty easy to come out. Okay, that's because this is going to turn as soon as you start loosening or tightening it off. Do the top one. Okay. Pull this out. Comes out. Okay. Just get something to hold on to that. And then we're going to take this off here and we're going to screw that in. I'll show you how to do that. Get something to, let's get a little piece of wire to hold that so you're not putting any stress on the flex line. Next, you're going to need a teeth T30 Torx to take off that Torx bolt and that Torx bolt. So I just scrubbed them down a little bit with a little wire brush, sprayed them down with a little bit of brake cleaner to get a nice tight clean fit in there. Okay, and you just take those off. These come off pretty easy. Okay, so just T30. Take these off. These come off actually not too bad. Okay. This is your electric power brake, or no, electric parking brake. Okay, one. Okay, now all you gotta do is pull this off of this, and then you can back off your, there we go. We'll just put this off to the side. Try not to touch that. Okay, so once you pull this off, your emergency parking brake unit, and you don't want to disconnect any of these couplers. Then you grab a T45, or actually a T47 is what I got here, but they both fit in. And you don't need a torque wrench or nothing, so all you do is you just twist it. You're going to turn it clockwise, and this will screw in. It'll screw that in. It screws it in. See, lucky I had this wire holding that. So it's going to screw in the caliper. I'm just screwing it in a little bit because I'm not replacing the brake pads. I just need to get the caliper back on. I'm just doing a cleanup and a brake service today. So that's just cleaning up, re-lubing the pins, going to clean up the guides. So anyways, you turn this clockwise till it stops, and then you can just grab a regular C-clamp or piston tool to push that back in regularly. So you just go clockwise till it doesn't turn anymore. You don't even need to put a wrench on it. And then that screws in. Instead of taking it to the dealership, they hook it up to a computer, and they're able to back off the electronic parking brake through their onboard diagnostics. So it automatically backs it off so they can do brake service without doing all this. And they'll charge you a lot too. So you can do this with no special tools. So once you screw in that piston, go clockwise till it doesn't turn anymore. Then you can get your caliper, piston compressing tool, or C-clamps, whatever you're using, and push it in the rest of the way. I'm not going in all the way today because I'm just doing a cleanup, so I don't have to push the piston in all the way. Okay, so just put that bolt back in there, that bolt back in there. Right? And that's it. And then you can do whatever you got to do with your brakes. Today I'm just cleaning and re-lubricating because I got lots of brake pad left. Good idea to do it every spring. Keep everything moving good. And another note, once you turn the car back on, you're going to pump your brakes a little bit, nice and slow, and everything will automatically reset, like as far as your electronic parking brake goes. You'll hear it wind up and it'll basically adjust itself. Okay, next is just going to grab a little wire brush, just a little one, And I already did it, but I'm showing you what I did. Clean this out a little bit here. Clean it out there, just the guides. Get in there in the front part. Just clean it up a little bit. I put a little bit of brake cleaner in there already. Cleaned it up and then dust it off. And then do the same with the brake pads. Just clean that part up. Because look at these brake pads here are the original brake pads. 130,000 kilometers on these, so I'm not going to bother replacing them. Everything seems to be fine. Rotors aren't warped. So just clean them up, keep everything moving good. So you just clean that up. Contact points. Okay. The rear, that's like going to make some noise once it hits that brake pads wear to that point. That's when you're going to start hearing the screeching, but look how much brake pads are left. So I'm not going to worry about that. So just clean that up there. Clean that up. The contact points. Okay, got those cleaned up. Next, I'm going to take these pins out. Just hold that boot. Slide that out. And just get some paper towel. Wipe them down. Okay, do them one at a time. Okay. Just use a little bit of silicone brake lubricant. Put some on there. And then just okay, just like that. Okay, just clean your finger off a bit. Okay, just spread it around like that. Okay, look at that. Right, let's slide back in like that. Make sure that boot is set right there. Make sure that's set on there. Perfect. Okay, do the top one. There we go. I do them one at a time. That way I don't mix them up. The bottom one, the bottom pin is different than the top on this car anyways. Okay. Again, let's put some lube on there. Just like so. Okay. Wipe your finger off. Alright, just okay. There we go. Look at that. Nice and easy. Okay. Okay, slide her in. Just like that. Make sure that boot's set. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all done. Okay. Okay, so just remember this one here goes to the bottom. So we just put a little bit of lube on there on each end. Alright. Okay. Just like that. Make sure you don't get any grease on the brake pad or the rotor. And they kind of fit in, like you'll see the clips there. And then I'll put a little bit of grease on this brush. And I just put a little bit right in there on those pads. Try not to get any on the little bit of grease right there. Keep everything moving nice and slow, nice and smooth. Okay. Okay. Okay, so put these on. Remember, this goes at the bottom, the whatever it is. Okay. Put a little bit of grease there, a little bit there. Okay. Okay. sure you wipe your hands down before you go any further. You don't want to get grease. Okay, and then these pads, they just go in there. They kind of spring in there a little bit. You'll see. Okay, there. Yeah, see, make sure you get them in right. So they got to spring out. Right? Okay. Okay. Next is this. Okay, next, caliper. Make sure you get your, okay. All right. There. Okay. And because there we go. Okay, everything's in there. Put your bolts in. They're going to turn, so make sure you have your ratchet ready. Make sure you don't twist in your wires. Make sure it looks like it's going back in the original position. Okay. Okay. Clockwise to tighten. All right. Okay, slide that up. Same here. Okay. Okay, so then just gotta push that back in. Use the pliers to get in there. Squeeze that, and then that'll pop out. Okay. And then I'm gonna put that back in, that bolt. Okay. Okay, don't forget, put that flex line in. Just put that like that. Get the bolt in there. Okay. Okay. Tighten her up. Okay, there's the flex line. Tighten her up. Okay, make sure you get that in there properly. Sit flat, and then tighten her up. You don't have to go too tight on this. Just snug it up. Okay, looks good. Okay, lastly, get your paper towel out of there. Check the fluid level. Okay. Then start it up. Pump the brakes slowly. Make sure you got brakes. Take it for a slow drive. Make sure everything feels good. Then you're all done. So once you get the caliper back on, wheel back on, get in the car, start it up, pump your brakes nice and slow, and then you're going to want to engage the electronic parking brake, and you're going to hear it winding for about 5 to 10 seconds, and it's basically just setting itself to the position and resetting itself, and then you're going to be good to go.